Good morning. So how many are we now? 23. Can we start? You can turn on your mic. Okay. So this is section C, right? Okay. Uh, for those of you who have not yet done your information sheet, please fill up the form here. Uh, Under number 1 for class directory. Okay. So who has already completed their uh, form, please just put up a thumb sign. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Konti lang. Okay, thank you. Next. Second issue is form groups. Actually, you just need one group. Unless you are not comfortable with the uh, with the groups you have, you only need to form one group, and you can choose to form your groups via Canvas, I think. So please arrange accordingly. Okay. Third issue is your section will have synchronous class every Tuesday. That is the way I design it. The topics, for example, I will have PowerPoint 1 to 15. Then 16 and 16 to 30 will be Thursday. So you don't need to attend both sessions. You just need to attend the Tuesday session. And then for the Thursday session, you can just watch the recording from the other section. Do you understand? Or does it make sense? Miss Marquez? Okay. So for those of you who can attend who can afford to have two synchronous session on Thursdays, you can attend the 11 to 12:30 class. Okay, clear? That way, you will still have the live interaction. But if you prefer, then on after every class, I will post the video of YouTube on the Canvas link. Link to the YouTube video via Canvas. So you just check on the video for continuity. By the next Tuesday, I'm assuming that you have all already gone through the readings of the modules assigned, as well as the video of the other section. Okay. Our live sessions, a synchronous session, will be mainly for interaction. That means that it will be for at least one recitation per person, and then that is graded recitation per person. So once you're called, you're okay. Then number two is for you to ask questions about things that you do not understand. You will find that tax is actually a bit more complicated than other subjects. This is why accountants and lawyers get rich in America. Okay. So you're around 27 now. So I'm assuming almost all of you will be here. The Zoom link will always be the same, whether for Tuesday or Thursday. Okay. The deadline for submission I changed to Saturday evening. This I will change later. Saturday midnight. Okay. So all submission will be Saturday midnight unless otherwise specified. My contact infos are found in this site, so remember this so that you can click on this and look for me. Otherwise, you can communicate with Miss Marquez, Isabel Therese Marquez. You want to turn on your camera and let them see you, or they know you already?
I think they know me naman. They're my blockmates.
No, Marquez, huh?
Yes,
I will
sir.
depend on you, Miss Marquez, to make this class work, huh? Okay. I think the most important
Okay, sir.
for today is the gray component. This will be 20% each. 20% will be discussion and quizzes. Quizzes, I will post it will just be basically computation. Maybe at the start of class, I will give you a question for you to compute, and then you just post your answers or text your answer. I'll still decide how to do it. Then there is a final exam. The final exam can be written or oral, up to you. Miss Marquez, you discuss with your classmates how we would like to do it, whether you want orals or written. So this is 20%. Now, originally the grade component is 40% for item number 3, the final project. But I worry that it will be such a big component. If you look at the syllabus, it's 40% of the component. But I decided not to I decided to break it up. Now, if your class decides to forego the final exam, I'm also okay. Then 40% will go to this requirement, last requirement. Okay. Now, for your baptism of fire, you need to read the Domondon notes. It's a rather old already. It's an old. There's a brand new one. I think 2019 or 2020, but the basic concepts are the same. So the first project is group project. 4 or 5 of you. You need to form your groups, and then Miss Marquez, you can, I think, choose from people. I think you can choose your own subgroupings. So what you do is, based on the cases of Domondon, that Domondon mentioned, you choose one that you want to research on the original case. So you can read the original case and then discuss the case in detail, analyze, and whether it has been overturned. Now, you submit to Canvas a written essay form, and then you put it in video form that I will post on a Facebook page for you to just check, so that your other classmates can also go over it. So dalawang requirement yan bawat first paper. Paper, I would suggest maybe 4 pages to not more than 10 pages. Don't write a treatise unless you're a justice of the Supreme Court already. And then number 2 is just do a summary presentation. Up to you. Okay. The second issue is research on the changes introduced by the Train Law. Actually, I will allow the Train Law and the Create Law. So there are 2 laws already. Train Law is the 2017 law. Create Law is the 2021 law. Train Law deals with individual. Create Law deals with corporation. So you need to look at the changes. You highlight 2 changes that have been made. Okay. So that's 1 and 2. The third one, this is a bit is in groups of 4 or 5, just like the first 2. You can have the same group unless you want to move and change groupings. Look for someone willing to lend you a land title and related docs. Okay, then you compute the relevant taxes: income, capital gains tax, transfer tax, etc. Okay, and then you tell me where to find the values, where you found the values. Or another alternative is you borrow a marketing or policy paper of an upperclassman. I'm not sure if you have already done your marketing paper for under the new curriculum. Then you look at their FS and do a tax audit. Analyze the financial statement prepared by the group for their tax consequences. Because if you have done your marketing paper or your LS paper, the teacher will always tell you, ignore tax, ignore tax. In your case, is now you supply the tax. Identify the taxes that they have paid or they should pay, taxes that they miss out, they compute their financial statement based on the proper tax treatment. Okay? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Miss Luna is asking how many per, it's 4 to 5. So you can have 4 in a group or 5 in a group. Miss Esteban, no, you do not choose 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to do 1 and 2 and then choose 3 and 4 only. Choose between 3 and 4. So you will have 3 major papers and then 1 exam. Okay. Now, if you decide not to, you can also choose to just the final paper, the summative paper can be 40% of your grade. Okay. Any question? You understand, Mr. Esteban? Hello, Mr. Esteban? Are you related to IB, Esteban? Okay. Any other question? Now, what is how do the grades for the discussion is you will have the discussion board there. You just comment and reply. Okay. Alternately, quizzes I will either give it to you, post it there, or for your submission, or I will give it in class. I'm still checking whether we will have enough time or not. Okay. Any questions so far with the requirements? Seems easy, no? Should be easy. Now, our discussion will center mainly on the modules that I will supplement the modules prepared by the department. So if there are things that are not there, I will discuss. And then otherwise, it will be mostly cases and computation. Excuse me. Okay, are we okay now? So we're done with this modules. You go through the modules. These were prepared by the department. So this is standard for all sections, except for the discussion questions. Now, if the discussion question has no grades, like this one, no points, then I will check based on participation. That means there's no right or wrong answer. But if the discussion thread has points, then that means that I'm expecting something concrete from from your readings. Okay. Any other question? Otherwise, we'll start now. So that you have a baptism of fire. Oh yeah. This is my website. I'll send you the link here, the chat. Okay. Then my contacts are here. You can find the contact numbers here. My mobile number is here, and then my email is here. Okay. So aside from Canvas, you can text me, you can email me, you can Viber me, you can send me by WeChat. It seems I have everything. Okay. I have all the apps, but I do not open all the apps. They are all mute, so give me time to reply. Normally, and at around 4 o'clock in the morning when I wake up, I will open and check. Okay. So this is my resume. Actually, today I'm the acting president of Chiang Kai-shek College. So by next, uh, when the classes end before the classes end, you will probably be able to hold classes or view my office at Chiang Kai-shek. Okay, you remember the mobile number? This is a smart number, and then this is the email address, the dchan at Ateneo. Okay. Uh, I have a list of former students. Uh, this is my survivors list. Those who survived the Holocaust. So if ever you are, I know, unfortunately, I don't count those online classes because they're only 5 weeks, 5 weeks. There's nothing for you to survive. But you can, if ever you decide to come to enroll in my class in the regular semesters, then you can be included in this list. I think I've been teaching since 1999, so you'll notice. And yeah, Ivy Lim is here. Ivy Lim Esteban is here, June 2000. I'm a bit OC on this data gathering, so I have a complete list of my students alphabetically arranged with their high school, course, and then batch. So, and then I assign them a unique prisoner number so that if ever you come back to me in a few years' time and ask for recommendation or something, I will be able to check. Okay, so you can check if your relatives, because if it's now 20 years, like Miss Esteban, it's already her aunt who was my student. You can check if any of your relatives are here, and maybe they were my students once. Okay. I also have a list of students per school. Ito yung, so Assumption Antipolo has 25 students. Assumption Makati has 18. Assumption San Lorenzo, I don't know if they're the same as 12. Ganyan siya. I'm still in the process of removing the duplicates. Okay. I also compile a list of all my former students' seat plan. So you have the Dakanai folder. My goal in life is to complete 2,000 students. So far, I have around 1,008, not counting the online classes since last March. So I call this the Dakanai folder because Father Dakanai was my theology professor. And one time, I met him at the matrimonial tribunal in Intramuros, Manila Cathedral. And I told him, "Sir, I was your student before." And he couldn't remember me actually. But by the second hearing of the matrimonial tribunal for annulment, he already remembered me. And I was surprised. And he was asking me about Aguisag, about Arroyo, about Alvarez, the marquis students of our class, the children of congressmen, etc. And I was surprised how he could remember. It turns out he kept our seat plan. For those of you who will take Father Dakanai next year, and on your third year, Father Dakanai keeps the seat plan. And from the seat plan, he remembers the students. So I said, it's a good idea of keeping the seat plan. But then I cannot just be a simple second-rate copycat. I improve on Father Dakanai. If it took him 2 weeks before he could remember me, I could remember you in less than 20 seconds, assuming your seat plan is here. So you can notice that this is the students from family law. Nakang na siya. You will see the students and their names. Let's choose a better one. This is my ME students of Law 115 last year. So you may know some of them. Mercado, Lorenzo, Malonzo, Francisco, Ang, Lau, Chen, Guanzon. You know them? And you will not be in this list because there's no way for us to put a seat plan for you. There's one section which sent me their screenshot, but I have not uploaded yet. Only one out of the past 5 sections that I've handled. And you can look at them at your own leisure time. So there are 2 sets. One is the first 1,000 students, is the second 1,000. The only difference is the first 1,000 I use 3.81 as cutoff for A's. The second set is I use 3.76 per the departmental norm. So you can see the number of students I have, the running total. $1,600 for Ateneo, 200 for Chiang Kai-shek. And then the previous students had the individual numbers. So you will also have your numbers, but you will not be included in the count. Okay. So this mass promotion due to COVID and online classes, I don't count. Okay. Any question?
Sir, I
Yes.
have a question about the difference between the oral and written exam. Like, for example, we choose the oral. Will the format be like you give us a case, then we answer it in front of you? How many cases, for example, will it be?
The oral exam will be like I will give you PowerPoint. I'll show you PowerPoint. Let's say three. Last term was 3 per student, but they only had 10 minutes max. So you answer, if you answer all 3, then all 3 correctly, then you have 100. If you answer 1 wrong, then you have uh, uh, corresponding deduction. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. So it's 10 minutes for the all 3 na.
Yes, because they chose individual orals, you can choose to have group oral to a group, and then I will give it up to 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then this is the last slide you will see.
Thank you, sir.
Before I start teaching. Evaluation of former students. I have basically, how do you put it, compiled up to 2018-19. So what do they say about the course? Teacher, what do you like best about the course? Teacher, relevant, etc. Okay. What do you least like? It is too short, a lot of memorization, so that you will know who you are talking to, what kind of teacher I am. Most students actually drop my class, but in your case, you cannot drop anymore. I am known to be stingy with grades. The joke before was, if you get an A in my class and you decide to go to law school, you will have a 100% correlation to passing the bar exam. Because all the people who got A's in my classes all passed the bar exam at their first try. There are 2 ways of interpreting that statistics. Number 1 is that I'm very good in screening good students for law school, which is what Ateneo Law School thought and always asked me for my recommendation. The other one is because I give so few A's. last second quarter, second term, out of the 19 A's that the law department gave, 19, sorry, out of the 19 D's that the law department gave, 3 came from my section. Out of the hundreds of A's that was given, only 3 came from my section also. So you know why they avoid me. Okay. It's your, you know, you can go look at this when you have the time. How do I get rid of this? Okay. So these are the subjects I've taught in Ateneo so far. I used to teach also at Chiang Kai-shek. Some of the materials, reference materials, you may find useful: laws and legal forms, summary of obligations, etc. For your class, you have to download this one, tax table of 2018. Soon I will make a tax table for 2021, including the corporate income tax. But for your purposes, this should be enough. I update this regularly so that you don't need to memorize. Like this one is up to 2022 only, so 2023, I will have to update this one. Okay, assuming there are any change in tax law. This is the table form of all the taxes that you will study in my class. Okay, any question? If there are none, I will go into the okay. So today we introduce taxation. Taxation sometimes is treated as one of the hardest law subjects. The general joke, the common joke is that actually lawyers do not know how to compute tax. Because the reason you go to law school is because your math skills are poor. That's the joke. But then there are now more and more CPA lawyers coming in. So I don't think it will be much of a problem in the future. Corollary to this, there is a proposal to remove tax law from the bar exam, because after all, the only time you will get a lawyer, you will engage a lawyer, is not so much to compute your tax, but to get your tax, to file a tax case or to answer BIR. Okay, so that is the way most teachers handle the tax class. They emphasize on the remedial law part, the procedural law part, in case you want to question. My thinking is, since I'm dealing with ME students, I would prefer to teach the mathematical side of tax. So you will have a lot of computations in numbers. In addition to that, I feel that the law courses of ME lack 2 particularly important segments. And the first one is the labor component. If you have friends from the management department, management side, you'll know that they have a labor law class. And then you also know that in their Essentials of Business Law, there's a module discussing forms of the business enterprise. Those two I will try to incorporate into my lecture, separate from the handouts given. The handouts have already been amended also to that extent by Attorney Valdez and Attorney Lau. So, but I will tackle it differently. Okay. So like this one, I will, whatever I finish here today, I will continue on Thursday for section F. And then whatever I finish up to where I finish section F, I will continue with on Tuesday for section C. That is my style. I wanted to have actually twice a week session with you, but I was informed by the department that that is not suggested unless all of you agree because of the internet issues. That's why the last question in the form was whether you can do you can do 2 sessions. Now, if you are not comfortable with this system and you want 2 separate sessions, I don't mind also. Just let me know so that those who can, if your class is okay, I can do 2 sessions a week. Okay. Now, so basically, Law 115 will cover tax, the computation of tax, and then the restrictions, the limitations on taxation, as the basic concepts, as well as labor as related to tax, and then corporation, business and form of business enterprise as related to tax. Okay. Any questions so far? Ms. Marquez, if no one answers, you are going to answer, huh? Yes, Mr. Gocheco, I failed a lot of students. That's why the numbers do not match. If you look at the number of students by the prisoner number, it doesn't match the number of students because I count only the survivors. Those who were victim of the Holocaust are not included. Okay. As an introduction to tax, there are basically 3 powers of a state. For you to claim yourself to be an independent republic or state, you must have 3 inherent powers. The power of eminent domain, the power to tax, and police power. Okay. Why do we say it is inherent power? It is inherent power because there's no need to specify the source of its power. By the way, I forgot to tell you. When answering my cases, you always start with the decision. I should have posted this, but I'll post it as an announcement next week. You start with the decision. Then you discuss the relevant law, the applicable law. Then third is you correlate the case facts with the law. And then 4th paragraph is optional. In case you have some doubts, you can indicate your doubt. Okay. So, anyway. So these are 3 state power. Ano itong difference ng tatlong state power na to? Eminent domain deals with the power of the state to expropriate properties for use. So, gagawa ka ng skyway, matatamaan yung bahay, gagawa yung gobyerno ng skyway, matatamaan yung bahay mo. Pwede bang sabihin mo, ayaw kong ibigay? Ayaw kong ibigay. Then the government will use its power of eminent domain and expropriate your property, regardless of what you want or you don't want, the property will be turned over to the government for its skyway expansion, and then you will be paid accordingly. That is the power of eminent domain. The other power is the power of the police power, the power of the government to preserve order in society. So you need, it has the, it's a self-protection, self-preservation power of the state. Third is the power of taxation, the power to collect, extract required payment for you to be able to operate the government and enjoy the benefits. That's why one of the, if you look at the slides, the video of the prepared for module 0, you'll find there that when you get your first salary, you will find that your salary does not match what the company offers you. Actually, it's not that the company cheated you, it's just that the government came before you. Naunahan ka ng gobyerno. So you have to pay withholding tax, you have to pay SSS, you have to pay PhilHealth, you have to pay Pag-ibig. So naunahan ka na, sorry ka na lang. Those are part of the power of taxation. Okay. Now, let me use the comparison to show you what is this power about. So if it's eminent domain, it's the power of the state to take private property. But you are required to pay just compensation. Okay, that is the power of eminent domain. Take private property, but you need to pay just compensation. Police power is the power of the state to enact laws to promote public health, public morals, public safety, and general welfare. Okay. Recently, there's this issue of Duterte telling the hotel owners, okay, if you don't allow quarantine in your hotel, we will take over your hotel. Okay. The next question is the taking over a matter of eminent domain or police power? If it's police power, there's no need to pay anything from the government. If it's eminent domain, then there is a required just compensation. Unfortunately for you, if you are the private citizen, when the government computes just compensation, it's always based on the way you pay your taxes. The market value, the zonal value, your real property tax, etc. Okay. So, if it's the taking of the government of the hotels, a power of eminent domain or police power? Yes, Mr. Gocheco says police power. Miss Lee says it's eminent domain. So who is correct? Should we create a poll for this? Okay. What is the purpose that they are taking the property? Is it for public use or for public health, safety, morals, and welfare? Miss Lee, where are you, Miss Lee?
Oh, sorry, sir. It's for public welfare.
So is it for the government to use, or is it for to do something about public health?
It's for the government to use for public health.
For public health. It will not be the government who will use it. it will be the someone else, but because of the containment. It's like the Jackie Chan movie. Have you ever seen a Jackie Chan movie where halfway through he's running after someone, he will show his badge and tell them, the police, I'm going to take over your car and run after the syndicate. That is police power. Okay. Now, in case of the hotels, that is for me a power, the use of a police power to promote public health. In that case, the government can theoretically take over the hotels. Okay, that is the danger. That's why suddenly the hotels initially refused it. Di The hotels were against the idea. Now they're cooperating because Duterte threatened to use police power. Okay. Taxation is defined as the power of the state to impose a financial burden to raise revenue in order to defray expenses. Okay. If you notice, taxation and police power must be exercised by the government. Only the government can collect tax. Non-government entities, they do not collect tax, they extort money from you. Okay. Eminent domain, however, may be done by public service companies. That is why the Skyway, which is a company owned by Ramon Ang, a private enterprise, private individual, can expropriate. I'm not a Duterte fan, but I was part of the initial group, legal team, in the feasibility study for the Skyway in the early 2000 plus. And what is the problem there? You will note that the project never took off during the Aquino administration. Not so much because the Aquino administration was corrupt or anything, but because it was very slow in allowing eminent domain. Pagdating kay Duterte, alam mo naman si Duterte, what he did was he threatened all of these people who do not cooperate with Tokhang, and then by the end of the first year of the Duterte administration, they have already complied. Even my client, who initially refused to sell his part of the property, had no choice but to sell. That's why I have two cases of expropriation or eminent domain involving one NLEX, one the Skyway, Citra, because we have no choice. And the kalaban mo doon is the entire machinery of the government. Okay. The purpose of taxation is government support. And when you say it's government support, you are not supposed to, the taxation should not be to enrich itself. Okay. Now, police power is, purpose is for regulation. Hence, it is not compensable, but it must be properly commensurate to the, if for example, you, like Jackie Chan, you take over a car, private car, to run after a syndicate. Then you, after the syndicate, you have to return the car. But you cannot use the car and later on, after the evening, you go and go on a date. Sorry na lang. That is already violation of the police power. Or if it's a police power and you are regulating, let's say, like this one, like the recent case where you are regulating curfew. What happens is if you are over regulating curfew, and then at the end of the day, you punish the curfew violators up to their death, then you already abuse your police power. Eminent domain is for public use. That's the purpose naman, public use. So it is compensable. Okay? It's for someone, for public benefit. Kung ba positive to, ito negative. Okay? That's why when you talk of Ms. Reyes, when you talk of whether it's hotel regulation is public use or for police power, that's the difference. Mr. Gocheco is asking how many people. This involves maybe 1,000 plus. Not only Philippine lawyers, but also international lawyers, banks, etc. We are not part of the Skyway. We are just part of the do the transaction analysis group. So they normally will hire SGV or some other big accounting firms. So this is a big, when it's a big project, they have to analyze the cost, they have to analyze the revenue stream, and then they look at the legal questions of how to acquire, what are the costs of acquiring, ano yung mga effects. Because in eminent domain, you can only take what is necessary for you. For example, if you if you are doing a skyway, then you cannot expropriate land outside of, let's say, the Ayala Alabang. Kasi hindi maabot doon sa Ayala Alabang. Bakit mo gagamitin yung expropriation? And if, for example, what happened with my client in Bonifacio is the expropriated land was 2,000 plus, but they actually use 1,000 plus. The rest of the 1,000, they are now ready to return to my client. Okay? Understand? So, let's do a practice. I will answer this for you. Just read the question. So maybe Ms. Marquez, you want to read the question?
Okay, sir. In 2007, the Republic of Eskermenetsky was formed as it absolutely seceded from the United Sovereign States of Lekelerki. For the formation of its governmental structure, a constitution was passed by the citizens of the Republic of Eskermenetsky. Based on said constitution, the legislative power shall be vested on a unicameral legislative body. However, absent from said constitution was the power of taxation by the Republic of Eskermenetsky, as well as any provision related to the power of the Republic of Eskermenetsky to impose taxes. After the constitution was passed, the unicameral legislative body of the Republic of Eskermenetsky enacted a comprehensive tax law imposing income taxes, inheritance taxes, and sales taxes. Antonini, a citizen of the United Sovereign States of Lekelerki, opposed the comprehensive tax law enacted by the legislative body on the ground that said law was void as the Republic of Eskermenetsky was not empowered by its constitution to impose taxes. If you were the judge here, would you side with Antonini? Explain thoroughly.
Okay, so you start with the first line, which is first paragraph, decision. So who do you side with, or who you think is correct? Antonini or the Republic? Ms. Marquez.
Sorry, sir, may I read it again?
No, just choose a, no, but ganun ka lang. You don't need to, this is not graded, so don't worry yet.
Oh, okay.
Just choose. Just
the Republic.
Yeah. So your statement, your decision statement is Republic is correct. Okay. So that is your decision statement. Now, the second paragraph will be the legal basis. And what is your legal basis? Earlier, we discussed that the state has three inherent powers. The power of eminent domain, police power, and taxation. And because of their inherent powers, they do not need to be specified or to have a source of their power. Okay, that's the second paragraph. Okay, then the third paragraph is, in this case, so even if the Constitution does not specify the power to taxation, it is assumed that there is the inherent power of the state to tax. Otherwise, it is not a state. Okay, understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's the way you answer the question. Second is, when you answer the question, you make sure that you turn your camera on. Okay, and this is an example. This is from the midterm exam. Okay, so we'll do this next week. Now, to illustrate to you how broad the scope of taxation is, Chief Justice John Marshall of the U.S. Supreme Court then said that the power to tax is equivalent to power to destroy. If you don't like something, what you do is you tax it to oblivion. For example, as a government, do you want people to smoke?
No, sir.
If you don't want people to smoke, so what can you force people not to smoke? You cannot. So what do you do to destroy that bad habit of smoking? You increase the excise tax for smoking, so that or cigarette, so that it will reach a point that it will destroy the power, that urge to smoke. Right now, the cigarette tax is very, very, very high because the government's policy has been leaning towards destroying the bad habit of smoking. Understand? Okay. Now, there's a corollary to this, and that is Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes. He's not a Chief Justice, he's just a justice, but he said, the power to tax is not the power to destroy while this court is sitting. Meaning, if the government is using the power of tax to destroy something, then you have a remedy, and your remedy is to go to the court to question the constitutionality and legality of such an imposition. That is why when the power to tax does not include the power to destroy while the court is sitting. That is Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes. And how do you question? You question based on the essential characteristics of tax. It's an enforced contribution, proportionate in character, payable in money, levied on a person or a property by the state with jurisdiction over that person or property through its law-making body for a public purpose. Yes. So you can choose to question this, any of these, when the tax is beyond. For example, if you are the cigarette manufacturer and you want to question the excise tax, what do? You question the proportionateness of character. Yeah. Or you can question the jurisdiction of the state over the person. In another tax case, when Amazon was being threatened with taxation by the Philippine government, Amazon claimed, you cannot tax me, even though I'm doing e-commerce and the customer is buying basically from the Philippines, but I am stationed abroad. So the cycle of taxation is not where your court has jurisdiction. Yes, all of these must be present. So one of the classic examples involve the uh, App Store franchise, where the Ferdinand Marcos then decided that his crony, Vicini, needed relief. So the question is the relief or the help or assistance to App Store something that is public purpose or is it for private purpose? The court ruled that that is a private purpose. It's a private company, so how could it be a public purpose? Therefore, the case will not, the tax cannot be imposed. Ito yung exercise ni, yung power ni Justice Wendell Holmes, the question. Okay? Any question so far? So what is the public purpose? Now, when you talk of purpose of taxation, you have to look at it from three ways. First, it is a revenue generation. When you impose excise tax on cigarettes, you are trying to earn more money. And in fact, they are using that to fund the universal health care law. Okay. And number two is possibly for regulation. You don't want people to be selling cigarettes all over. And number three, which is something that was introduced in the excise tax on smoking, on cigarettes, it is a compensatory. Because people who smoke get lung cancer, and when they get lung cancer, who will take care of these people? It's not the state. So what will happen is the state has to extract its equivalent compensation para magbalanse. That is also one reason why they now have a street tax, street, tamis, street, SWEET, street. So if you notice your cigarette cost went up, sorry, your soft drink cost went up. That is because there is now an excise tax on sugar. And why is that so? Because the state is being burdened with dialysis patients, with diabetic patients, all because people drank too much sugary products. Okay. Now, the other correlation to this is compensation means you enjoy some benefit, so therefore you must pay certain tax. So you will see that some documents require documentary stamp tax. The reason is the government is expecting that you are going to sue. The reason you put that contract into writing is because you are expecting to sue, to enforce your right. So before you enforce your right, you must pay the government documentary stamp tax. So you have a corresponding benefit, you must compensate. That is the purpose of taxation. These are all in the Domondon notes, so I'm just explaining it. So in terms of the revenue purpose of taxation, there are two theories. One is it's a lifeblood. Whatever you collect, whatever is necessary for existence. And number two is benefits received. What did you receive in benefit? Okay. So if it's benefit received, then you should also correspondingly pay more. If it's the lifeblood, then whatever is only necessary. That's why they used to question when Jejomar Binay became mayor of Makati. He increased the tax instead of reducing the tax for Makati, even though Makati was already having a budget surplus. It was the headquarters of so many companies. So why would you collect more? Well, that is why they question the additional imposition based on the lifeblood theory. You are already collecting too much, more than what is necessary to run the government. Okay. So, Jejomar Binay countered with the benefit receipt theory. Sabi niya, oo nga, mas marami akong tax na kinokollect, pero mas marami akong binibigay na benepisyo sa mga citizen ng Makati. That's why Makati pioneered in those birthday cakes, cash gift for senior citizens' birthday, pati yung mga kasambahay, may mga extra, all because it gives more benefit. So if it's like social welfare. And non-revenue purposes include strengthen enterprises, provide incentive, protect local industry, enhance bargaining power, curb spending, halt inflation, ward off depression, reduce inequalities in wealth, implement police power. So these are non-revenue purposes. If they cannot justify the revenue purpose side, they go for this one. Like what is happening with the tax on imported pork. Diba? That's the question. The question ni ano ngayon? Ni Ping Lacson. Bakit mo bababaan yung pork, yung ng pork? Kasi the prices of pork has gone up so much that it's now more expensive to buy pork than buy beef. So mas mura na yung steak kaysa yung baboy. So basically, you're trying to halt inflation, control inflation, and also reduce inequalities in wealth, etc. Okay. So they lower the tax and allow people to import so that the local hog raisers have no choice but to lower their price. Otherwise, lahat tayo bibili na lang ng imported. Diba? And then it will stem off the shortage as Ms. Eunice mentioned. Okay. So whether you agree or not, that's another thing. Now, there's another counter naman. The government has this rule that if the steel manufacturing factories of National Steel Corporation or any integrated steel mill is operating, the tax for steel products will automatically be increased. So right now, there is no operation of National Steel or Global Steel in Iligan. So the tax is zero. But once it's operating, the tax will go back to 7% ata. I'm not sure of the law, but the numbers are there. Why is that so? Because it is to provide incentive for someone to operate, knowing that if you operate a steel factory, you will probably be hiring tens of thousands of people. And number two, to protect local industry. Okay. That is the non-revenue purpose of taxation. If you have tried if you add gasoline, you will know also that the biofuel, yung 90% octane, is cheaper. Not because its production cost is cheaper, but because the government is trying to encourage ethanol usage. Ethanol mixed with petroleum. So if you are importing, then if you are selling 90% octane versus the 95% octane, it's cheaper, even though the production cost is higher, because they are encouraging people to use ethanol for the biofuel for the purpose of environment preservation. Okay. Recently, the CREATE law was passed, which now remove all VAT from PPEs and COVID protection equipment, as well as mental health medicine. So natanggal na yung VAT doon. Okay. That is a way to give incentive to people to be able to buy more, to make it more affordable. So you enhance your bargaining power. Okay? Yeah. Sources of tax law, specific laws like the NIRC, National Internal Revenue Code, or the Train Law, or the CREATE Law, or the Tariff and Customs Code, TCC. Municipal ordinances like what ISCO has passed, or what DNICE has passed in Makati. Then you have the revenue regulation issued by the government. Case law comes from the cases decided by the Court of Tax Appeal and the Supreme Court. So decisions of the court are controlling. And of course, you have specific laws on certain industries like mining, excise tax of mines, etc. There's a cigarette law, VAT law, etc. Okay. So we'll end there. And, any questions so far? Any questions?
None for me, sir.
Okay. Okay. So we'll end here. Okay. On Thursday, next Tuesday, we will continue not from here, but from where section F is finished. So you have to watch the video on your own. I will try to upload it on the same day that the section has the lecture. Okay. Any questions? If you have no class from 10:30, from 11 to 12:30, then you are welcome to join the other section. Now, if you have any questions, I will normally open the camera at the Zoom meeting half an hour before. So you can join the Zoom meeting at any time, half an hour before the next class. Okay? Then we can discuss your questions. Any questions? Okay? So I'll see you next week. Okay? May requirement na kayo mag-submit ng assignment yata next week. Bye. Bye. Second time. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Hi, sir. Thank you.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir,
Sir.
question in the chat.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'd just like to ask us what reference we'll be using, and will we be heavily reliant on the book prescribed?
No need to buy the book of Valdez, because those are not updated anymore. So what you can do is you can just rely on the modules, and then if there's anything, I will send you I will send you by email the materials. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So you don't need to buy the reference book anymore. You can rely on the materials I post, like the Domondon notes, and then I will post selected topics. Okay. Is that okay, Mr. Karandang?
Yes, sir. Thank you for answering my question.
Answering the other question. Who else was raising question? None? Okay, I'll end the video na. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Okay,
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
sir.
bye-bye.